me tell you a little bit about my first marriage, my only marriage, but that ended in divorce, and why it ended in divorce. I'll give you a little bit of a backstory really quickly for 3 minutes. So I came from a very dysfunctional home, right? I came from domestic violence, alcohol and drugs. My mother was a drug addict and alcoholic. For many years, I didn't know my mother was smoking crack until I knew she was doing something, but probably when she got sick. My mother died from breast cancer, I think 16 years ago. And I knew there was some drug use, but I didn't know it was crack because I really didn't want to know it was crack. Like, you don't want to know your mother smokes crack. But some things started to surface while she was sick and I was taking care of her. Some family members started to call who I knew smoked crack, right? So they was calling while she was sick. And I'm like, stop calling my mother, right? And these were her nieces and nephews, right? So I don't want to put them on blast because they're doing better now, right now. It took me a long time to forgive them that they would smoke crack with my mama. These are like my cousins. Like, y'all smoking crack with my mother? But it took me a long time to forgive them. But my mother smoked crack because my mother wanted to smoke crack, not because my cousins were smoking crack with her. But it took a long time for me to realize that. But I grew up in a home where there was drug, alcohol abuse. There was physical violence in my home, and it was a lot of moving around. My mother, we moved like probably every year or every 2 years. I never had any stability because my mother was on welfare. Our whole life I was on welfare. And at night when we didn't have the rent or we couldn't pay the bills, we would get up and move in the middle of the night. I don't know how many other young people experience this, but this was my life. I never had stability. My mother would just get up and be like, we moving tomorrow. And I was like, wow, I just made friends. So I never really wanted to make friends with people because I knew after a while, when you're 12 years old, you're like, okay, we're going to be moving soon. So I'm not trying to get connected to none of these chicks. But I still have 4 very good friends that I stayed in contact with my whole life. So the dysfunction for me was normal. And why my marriage didn't work, that's what I was talking about. Because my ex-husband came from a family of normalcy. He came from a 2-parent home. So it was his mother and father, and they had 13 children. His father worked every day. His mother was a stay-at-home mom. So he was nurtured by his mother and disciplined by his father. They had a very normal structure. So when we came together, I'm thinking to myself, like, you a stick in the mud. But he still is a very hard-working man, structured. Like, his job was to protect and provide. My job was to nurture and take care of the kids. But that wasn't my job in my head.